Hey, beautiful people. I am Shemeka Wright, and this is Balanced Life. This week, we are talking about your timeline journey. Do you feel like you are right on time? Do you feel like you are behind? Do you feel like you're ahead? Is there someone that is operating in the same space that you are in and they are farther along in their journey and you're finding yourself comparing your journey to theirs? Are there people in your life that are telling you where they think you should be at this point in your journey? Let's talk about that because having those comparisons completely diminishes all of the work that it took for you to get to where you are in this moment right now, and it steals your joy. And I want to work through that with you. But before we get into that, we do not have a candle of the week. We have a collection of the week. So BU Candles has these petite candles that are $7 always, and they are just the smaller versions of our larger size candles. So you can sample it, and then once you do that, we know you're going to come back because you're going to love it. So the petite link will be available for you in the description, and we look forward to you becoming part of our BU Candles family. All right, let's get into this topic of your timeline journey and making sure that as we're going through each step, we are honoring and giving joy and love to the progress that you have made. Your timeline journey is not limited to personal or professional. It can be one or the other, or it can be both. As long as you're going towards the direction of growth and elevation, whatever it is that looks like for you, you are right on time for your journey. Now, for those that feel like, hey, I am right where I'm supposed to be, kudos to you because your chest is swole and you know that the efforts that you have put in is reaping you reward. For those that feel like I'm behind, my question to you would be why? You are the only one that can answer the why. It can be something like life circumstances threw you off and maybe you're trying to get back on the bandwagon. Whatever the case may be, if you can answer your why do you feel like you're behind, you will know what to go towards in order to at least feel like what you need to do to get back on track. For those that feel like, hey, I am ahead of the game, okay? I have been putting in the work. I know I am far beyond where it is that I thought that I would be at this point. Congratulations, because you are few and far between. That means that you have jumped over what some feel like is the constant hamster on the wheel, the constant struggle bus. You have jumped over that and you're like, look, I know I'm ahead of the game. Okay? So that is your where you are. That is if you feel behind, and that is if you feel ahead. Now let's talk about that comparison. So there is always going to be someone in the space of where it is that you are trying to go personally and professionally that you wish you were already there. First thing I would say to you is that you don't know what it took for that person to be in that space in this time, so do not compare. You comparing your journey completely dismisses all of the work you have done at this point. It diminishes all of the accomplishments that you have made at this point. It took a lot for you to get to where you are for what it is that you are trying to accomplish. Honor that, even when it does not look like someone else's who is in that same space. Even if you feel like, you know what, I should be further along, honor where you are today because there is growth there. There is growth there, I promise you. And there is applause that is needed, even if you're only giving it to yourself. And sometimes the reason why we feel that way is because the acknowledgement is not as big. The accolades are not as big. But does that mean that your accomplishments aren't as big? No. You do not need for the world to pat you on the back for the growth and the steps that you have taken at this point in order for you to be successful. If you are constantly moving in a forward motion, you are successful with every single step. Now, when you have people who are not in your space telling you where they think you should be at this point, be a little cautious of that, okay? Always understand that any message that you receive, check who the sender is, okay? Because sometimes it can be coming from a place of love, and sometimes it can be coming from a place of toxicity. You would know, okay, based off of who it is that you are talking to. But regardless to whoever it is that's saying it to you, no one can truly tell you where it is that you are supposed to be in your journey without them going through every single step with you. So I will share with you that at this point, 2025, I have been an actor for 22 years. I will share with you that it gets hard knowing that at this point in my career, being here this long, I am still not at a place that I could retire from my full-time job and just be in the space of the things that I love to do, which is create full-time. I'm not in that space. The smart part of my brain is like, ma'am, we can't retire yet because the thing that you love to do is not paying you enough to be able to live your life. So we have to continue to balance and juggle. Now, with that being said, can I sit here and say that throughout these years, I have not seen people do things in my space and apparently, because I don't know for sure, but apparently surpassed me in the things that, considering that we are in the same space, right? In the things that they've done, me feeling like they have surpassed me, of course that has come to my mind. I could not sit here and say I've been in the industry this long and I haven't felt any frustration. I don't get upset. Like that happens. But then I have to remind myself, look how far I've come. Look at the things that I have done. And I have to constantly reassure myself that guess what? Even though I may not be where someone else is, I'm still moving forward. And it feels good because I'm like, even though I'm 22 years in this game, damn it, I still haven't quit. I still love it. It hasn't knocked me down. It hasn't made me want to run away. I'm like, I'm here. I'm 10 toes down. This shit is meant for me. And that's it. And if you have that mindset of the things that you are trying to accomplish in your journey, it doesn't matter what anyone else is doing. When it is your turn, it is your turn. And you know, another thing that I realized that as you're going through your journey, the things that are happening for you is really creating the entire book that you are going to be able to tell the world about what it took for you to get to where you are. Like my story is being written. It's all about changing the narrative of what's really happening. Can I say to you, oh, sometimes that, I don't ever get into like that negative space. Just like my last video I shared with you, there's that negative side and there's that positive side, but you have to get into the habit of having your positive side overpower your negative side. When I tell you I am in constant practice of that, I mean that through and through. I'm in constant practice because that does happen. Because sometimes I could be like, shit, damn. One of the things that I had been feeling for many years, and it still comes up for me, is like, damn, when is it going to be my turn? If you know what that feels like, whew, you just know. When is it going to be my turn? But then I think, and I'm like, for the things that I have been able to book, for the auditions that I have been able to have, for the travel that I have been able to do in the space of creativity of what I like to do, which is act and direct and write and produce, it is my turn. I am in my turn. I think that it's one of those things where we have this idea of what it is that it is supposed to look like because we did what? We compare what it looks like for somebody else. When in actuality, you're doing the exact same things, just at a different level. So it is your turn. When I tell you through my life and experiences that perception has changed for me, the way that I look at a scenario, the way I flip that and try and find the positive of it, I lead with that. I lead with what's going on in my timeline is meant for me. Whether or not the shit sucks for me in the moment or not, it's meant for me. There is something I am supposed to learn here. There is something I'm supposed to grow from here. There is something here. Do I have the answers all the time? Hell no. Hell no, I don't have the answer all the time. But one of the things that I am constantly learning is not to run away from learning the lesson. So if you are in your timeline and you are trying to figure out what it is that I do next, I am comparing, I feel like I'm behind, you find out what your why is. You find out what the lesson is that you are supposed to learn on the level that you are in. Learn the lesson and then move forward from it. And even if that lesson results in a failure, that is what's building your resilience. That's what's building your strength. That's what's building your stamina to be able to keep going. So take in the message, take in the lesson, learn from it, fail forward, and make better decisions every single step you make. And every time that you do that, you're going to get closer and closer to that vision that you see so clearly in your head. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe, turn on all of your notifications. I appreciate you watching this week's episode, and I will catch you next week on Balanced Life with Shemeka. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay balanced.